Wow, what a day. What a day. See, now that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Um, you know, I tweeted earlier on, imagine the smell if market makers just nudged, just gave Bitcoin a little nudge, just a little nudge, okay? And what did they go and do? They went and just gave Bitcoin just that tiny little nudge, and it just instilled fear into altcoins and max pain. And I've been tweeting this for a little while now. Max pain in altcoins is Bitcoin at all time highs, just consolidating at all time highs and ranging between. We have got this very large range at the minute. From I mean, I wouldn't really say 59.3K, but that's a very attractive level. Okay, but I would say, yeah, I would say that okay, Bitcoin just ranging just between just between 60K and 71, nearly 72K, just is max paying on all coins. They're not moving, and they haven't been for weeks. Um, I don't think this Bitcoin's not topped. Bitcoin definitely hasn't topped. As early as potentially next week, um, we have Hong Kong um, approving Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs as soon as Monday. Okay, and I seen a tweet earlier on, and there was I can't remember who it was from, but they said in the tweet that this could potentially open up to $25 billion um, you know, into into Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this sell-off, especially in Bitcoin, it's just in anticipation of that. I mean, it could be other things too. It could be likes of escalations in Israel and Iran. So you got to remember there's still a lot of um, geopolitical issues that are spooking the markets, and that's what we've seen in indices. And indices are rolling. Okay, the likes of the Dow Jones is rolling. The likes of the S&P is rolling. Nasdaq is consolidating, but it's going to roll. So indices have topped. Indices have definitely topped. I'm pretty certain of that. They've been up only since November last year, and they've shown incredible strength. And you take the likes of the DXY, and yeah, since last November, October, it's just been selling off, and it was kind of in capitulation mode from a high time frame. Okay, and now we've just had this incredible bounce. And we were initially rejecting from the likes of 104s, 105s, and now we're at the 106s. But I'm not going to go too much into the DXY. Obviously, it's something to consider. DXY is now showing considerable strength, um, and you take with the likes of crypto, you've got USDT dominance, which is showing a strong bounce and incredible strength. It slightly slowed off on the day today. It did go as high as 4.6%. But Bitcoin dominance is is in up only mode, and I have a long term view for Bitcoin dominance, and that is towards 58 to 60%. And I've had this target for the longest time. Now, I did initially think, okay, but is Bitcoin dominance sort of trending in this parallel channel? And we were getting nice rejections from where I was expecting. Okay, and recent weeks it's just rallied, and that's because of the boredom that's setting with altcoins. Okay, so we're back on the initial trajectory of 58 to 60%, and then that's like max bid altcoins if anyone's sidelined, because we haven't had an alt season yet. And I know there's people that think we have had an alt season, but we haven't, and we won't have an alt season until Bitcoin puts in a significant retrace to the likes of back to 40%, 45%, or even lower than that. And that's where we see most of the gains in altcoins. And we're not going to get that whilst the dominance in Bitcoin is more than half of this market. Okay. And it's heading towards 60%. So it's on its initial trajectory, and it's going to continue on that, especially when it's just ranging at all-time highs. Um, so if we take today, what did we have play out? Okay. Um, Now, Bitcoin was around 70k, so the daily high was at 71.2k, and like I tweeted, it's just I imagine a nudge in Bitcoin to just completely offset and obliterate altcoins, because they're already notably weak, and they have been since March time, since early March, and that's what we got. Well, some altcoins, and that's what we'll dive into in a minute. Altcoins early to mid March, and that's exactly what we had. We had that nudge. Now, um, so we had the daily high at 71.2k, and we didn't come and take this, and we actually did have, you know, equal highs, okay, at this level, and we didn't want to come and take that out, right? And I think the reason why, even though it's a very attractive level to take out, and listen, it's obvious there's a big build up of shorts towards 70k and higher, towards 75k, a massive build up of shorts. Um, but I think with the anticipation of the Hong Kong ETFs that are potentially going to be approved as early as Monday, market makers wanted to shake the tree a little bit today and go and stop some people out, and today alone there's been 200 million, 200 to 300 million dollars of longs liquidated. Now the only thing is, where does Bitcoin go from here? And that is, to be quite honest, I don't know. Yeah, and it's we're after taking the weekly low, we're facing rejection. Okay, back on the underside of the weekly low. Yeah, and this is sell side liquidity, weekly low being taken. Um, Sellers have just been in complete charge, and now we've created this low at 65k. Um, do we come and retest bottom of the range? Potentially that would be yeah, that'd be nice. Do we come and take the 59.3k and then just send it back higher? Yeah, potentially. I mean, I seen a tweet, and I seen a tweet earlier from someone, and you know their thinking was we come and fill this gap here. Okay, and this gap is, this gap is just a fair value gap, but it's called a breakaway gap. Okay, um, it's a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. Okay, that's what it is, and you got to remember, fair value gaps are just imbalances in the market. Fair value gaps are created when what? They're created when there's a big displacement or impulsive move in the market, and there's a lot of other different theories, like um, um, Oh wow, I can't remember now. I'll have to find the book. I'll have to find the book, and I'll explore. But there's a lot of other theories, and what they suggest. Oh wow, I can't remember what it was. Oh, it's gone from the top of my mind. But anyway, there's a lot of theories that discuss these big moves in the market in one direction that are then rebalanced, okay, um, to just create liquidity and other purposes on both sides of the market, and then we continue again. And so we're seeing this tweet that on this breakaway gap, and it was a big account on Twitter, and how they think this will be filled, and the likes of breakaway gaps, um, they don't have to be completely filled, right? And whenever you chart fair value gaps, ideally we don't see them as draw on liquidity, but you can kind of think of them as a draw on liquidity. But if you take it from the monthly time frame, where's the draw on liquidity here? Okay, well, it's actually 30k, so that would be our target. Yeah, that would essentially be our target. Are we going to come to 30k anytime soon? No, probably not. Be a lot further down the line. So there is potential that we come and take this 59.3k. All right, we come and take this 59.3k, a hunt on liquidity, sell side liquidity. Okay, there's a good chance that we do potentially take this, and we come then and fill into this monthly breakaway gap. Okay, and the 50% level, so it's around 54k. Okay, it's consequent encroachment. Now, another consideration is we have actually got another level, which is here, okay, which is an inverse fair value gap. Okay, an inverse fair value gap is just a fair value gap that's been invalidated. So originally, this, right? Okay. In fact, I'm going to make this a video on Bitcoin, and then we can dig into some altcoins. Right, so originally this would have been a SIBI, okay, so a sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, right? And the idea is with this is the market will come and rebalance. So we've had a displacement 1, 2, 3 candles gap, okay, gap. Yeah, you take the wick low on this candle, okay, and the wick high on this candle. That's your gap, okay. Price should redeliver, rebalance in the market, okay, into this gap, and then continuation, right? Now we had a slight touch and then continuation, but it didn't fill. So when we start to move up, originally the thought was, well, maybe this fills now. Okay, it's around 50k, and that didn't happen. It ended up a violated fair value gap. So it's called an inverse fair value gap. Okay, now because that's been invalidated, we have this inverse fair value gap. Is there potential on the monthly that we do potentially around the halving or something like that, selling news? I don't know. We have a correction towards 54k to potentially 50k, right? And then it's back to up only. Okay. No one knows for sure. Come and see the little hunt and liquidity. Come and take this 59.3k, potentially for the likes of a turtle soup. Go search it up. A little bounce in the market, come back down into here, and then you probably have some market structure form, and then we go and head back up again. Okay, something like that may potentially happen. Let's see. Now another thing to keep in mind is just like we had here. Okay, on a monthly time frame, we had a bearish divergence. Okay, bearish divergence. Yep, got a high, higher high, and then what do we have? We've got a high, a lower high. That's bearish divergence, right? are we potentially got a larger cycle bearish divergence with these? Okay, and I am just looking at, yes, I am looking at multiple avenues, bearish and bullish avenues, but I'm trying to get across that potentially this correction may come a little bit deeper than anybody expects, or from Hong Kong ETF approvals, we may just continue back up only. We look at both sides, okay? So there could be a larger bearish divergence here, okay? Yeah, so we've got high, lower high correction, okay? And if you take cycle, you take cycle bottoms, retracements. What am I looking for? What am I looking for here? What am I looking for? Mind has gone blank. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, rectangle. Okay, so if you take cycle bottoms, what's saying we don't have just a correction down to here. And it can happen. It can happen. Okay, we may see weakness now in Bitcoin. Who knows? Nobody knows. No one is completely sure. Geopolitical issues may intensify. What happens with interest rates? Okay, what if there's an interest rate hike? Then you can be sure that Bitcoin's coming lower, right? So yeah, nobody knows. And the other thing to consider is in fact, if this is potentially big, expanded, Elliott wave theory, expanded flat, and that's something that I explained explored in the thread I posted. And although my target was 92, 94k, as high as 120k, definitely go and check out this thread on my Twitter. It can end early, and the reason why it can end early is simply down to those issues that we've explained in that video. Okay, um, everyone has to understand this. There's a lot of things that don't, macroeconomic wise, a lot of conflicting data. There's a lot of things that don't make sense, and ultimately, the Fed pivot is failing. So this market can still absolutely go anywhere. It can absolutely go anywhere. You have to trade it level by level. But if we take a look at my most bearish scenario, and that is our and that is our 335 structure, ABC expanded flat, and then we've got our impulsive structure down of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse, and that puts us taking out cycle lows. Okay, now, do I think it's going to happen? No, it's very low probability, but it's obviously something that needs to be explored. If I take, um, imagine not being prepared for all scenarios, okay, and if we came higher to 290, 92, 94, 120k being the most bearish, low probable scenario, that's still all-time highs that's still, consecutive all-time highs in Bitcoin. Okay. Um, but yeah, there's a lot to consider from a bearish standpoint, being a lot of things going on with the world at the moment, and extremely bullish standpoint, and that's the likes of Hong Kong potentially going to be max bidding as early as Monday. Continuation of max bids from the likes of BlackRock and Fidelity and all the other institutions. So yeah, I think if anyone is in if anyone is in trades at the moment, I would be, um, as we said, we've rejected from the weekly low, which is around 67.5k, which we obviously swept. And yeah, I'd watch for how strong this bounces. We want strength in Bitcoin ultimately, and we did just have, you can see how weak in the RSI Bitcoin is. We just did just have a little buy signal down here in the Lux Algo oscillator matrix, which is fantastic. Um, yeah, what's it saying here? Yeah, so we had the sell signal there, we had the sell signal there for continuation, and you can see how we're now in the green band here, which indicates a good opportunity to buy. Let's see the 4 hour. Yes, same there. So yeah, on the intraday, yeah, not had any buy signals or anything aside from in the oscillator matrix, not on the signals and overlays. Um, yeah, we want to see regained strength. We want to see taken strength back on the weekly low. So let's get back above 67.5k. Then you want to start, potentially tackling this gap here, 70k, so 69, 70k. So that's a level that I'm going to be looking at now. Okay, just this level, and if it's not a violated in fair value gap, then we should see continuation lower. But ideally, we don't want any more lows hunted. Okay, so if we continue to hunt these lows, and you can see how they are major lows. Okay, major wicks, right? They're looking very attractive to come and sweep. But yeah, you come sweep them, we'll probably get a bounce up again, and then there's potential for 60k, 59.3k, okay, which is obviously all the way here. But yeah, anyway, that's it. That's pretty much it. We want to see regain strength, and over this weekend, really, ideally, or as early as next week, with BlackRock potentially bidding. So yeah, mark out those levels. We had that big move, that big impulsive move, big impulsive displacement, and you can see we've got a fair value gap on the 1 hour as well, which come down to 70k. So we want to see regain strength back to these levels before potentially continuation down, or tackling the highs again. But yeah, that's it.